You are Locked On Hurricanes Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right. What is poppin', Miami Hurricane fans? A big win for the Canes today. And look, it's a rivalry game. It's Florida State. We know they're down this year. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't the best game for Cam Ward. There's a lot to dissect, Miami and Florida State, but I'll tell you this, it's a lot better to do it coming off a win, 36-14, not the best performance for the University of Miami, and we can get into that as we move along. But again, a convincing win, an easy win, dare I say, although Florida State, I think, played as well as they can play today, given their situation and everything they've been through this year, injuries and all that. I thought that Florida State showed up as well as they could have today, and their defense in particular, holding Miami to some field goals, things like that. But 36-14 is the final, and this is your Locked On Canes postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. First things first, I Grease Freaks all the honeys. Just like the Hurricanes, go to 8-0. Thanks for making Locked On Canes postcast your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And, of course, Locked On Canes every day with our guy Alex Dono. He is going to join me in just a second. First things I have to take care of first is to let you know that tonight's episode of Locked On Canes Postcast is powered by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you're going to get started with $5, right? You're going to get a $200 bonus bet right there. Guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started, and we are started going full speed ahead with your Locked On Canes Postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. 36-14. They go to 8-0, and we bring in our guy Alex Dono, the host of Locked On Canes, day in and day out. You everydayers know this here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Alex is in Miami and literally at the game tonight. The festivities, amazing with the homecoming, Alex, and the win over FSU. It wasn't as pretty as we thought it might be. Cam Ward didn't have a Cam Ward game tonight, really, what we've seen all year long. But the end result, the same. The Canes did what they had to do. They go to 8-0 with a 36-14 win. And they cover the spread by 1 point.
That's right. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Although I think I've said it here before on the postcast, I don't bet on games involving Miami because I'm too superstitious. So I'm happy. I'm happy for those who did have winning tickets on FanDuel. I bet on a lot of games. I sit the Miami games out. And I guess if you're looking at the whole rivalry, I guess what Miami fans can be happiest about today is not only did Miami improve to 8-0 on the year, but they knocked Florida State officially out of bowl eligibility. So for them, 1-7, they are gonna miss out on the postseason for the third time in Mike Norvell's 5 years there. So I think he's gonna have to make some staff changes, I think, after the season is over. And like you said, Grease, it was not always pretty. It was a far from perfect performance, but there's a couple things that I really did like about this for Miami. I love the way that for the second straight week, they got the running game going.
Big time. Martinez, best game of the year by far.
Best game of the year. One of the better games of his career. He just, the last couple weeks, I really think that, not to give too much of the credit to other people, because I need to give credit to Martinez, but I think Miami pushed the right buttons with him, because ever since they, demoted him to second string behind Fletcher, he's had his two best games these last couple of weeks. He's been decisive, not the dancing around stuff that he was doing for the first few weeks. And you see the way he just drags bodies. And of course, and Mark Fletcher, I also, I want to shout him out. I don't know if they mentioned this on the TV broadcast. I was at the game, of course, but Mark Fletcher just lost his father a couple days ago.
Beautiful tribute, by the way, Alex, that you did for him. That was nice. I saw that. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah. I mentioned on the tribute, I had the opportunity of meeting Mark Fletcher Sr., during fall camp, and he made an impression on me with just what a nice, positive guy he was. We talked a little ball, me and the father. I was completely heartbroken by his passing, but Fletcher, Martinez played well. This was it's again, like, you temper it because we know how bad Florida State's offense has been this year.
Yeah, terrible.
But this was like, you could say outside of a couple plays, that fourth down where Miami somehow let Kromenhoek escape and rush for 42 yards. That was really bad. Overall, we saw better from the defense, but again, you're going up against one of the worst offenses in the country. So you take it with a grain of salt, but saw some positives there from the defense overall. Miami's physicality was good, but I think the thing that concerns me most about this one is the trouble protecting Cam Ward. I thought that the run blocking was great from a pass pro standpoint. This was Miami's worst game of the year.
They were confused by the blitz multiple times tonight. They got him with late blitzes and different guys coming from different angles a few times.
Which and that's something we're going to need it to be better next week, because the Duke Blue Devils, that what they excel at, it's a Manny Diaz defense. It's super aggressive. They blitz a lot. So we're going to need to be better. We're going to need to be better against that next week. As far as Ward, this was obviously, statistically, this was his worst game as a Hurricane. Didn't throw for any touchdowns. He caught a touchdown, which was that was a fun play. And and it's funny because I didn't know until today that Elijah Arroyo was a lefty. I had no idea because I only see him catch passes. I've never seen him throw a pass before. So that was a fun play. Ward, he took care of the football, which is important. No turnovers. Florida State's defensive backs, they've got a lot of talent there. They did a good job bracketing Miami's receivers. So this was it was an unremarkable win, but still a comfortable win against a rival. And after losing 3 straight to Florida State, I will take a victory. Like you mentioned, Miami did cover the spread. I'm sure it won't stop, Miami fans and national media even from, saying, oh, this team's not that good, but I will take it, move on to next week. Miami just went, as Mario Cristobal always says, you go 1-0 every week. Miami just went 1-0. Hopefully they can go 1-0 next week.
Yeah, and no calls reversed with the game hanging on the line this week after those 3 consecutive. No nail-biter. Yeah. And really the margin of victory, just about 4 points those last 3 games. So it's nice to get an easy one, although it wasn't an easy one. And I don't want to say that Cam Ward was rattled a little bit tonight, Alex, but I think those blitzes early and the way that he got hit and smashed into the ground a couple of times early in this game, it did affect him as the night wore on. And guess what? I know Hurricane fans, he hasn't shown it all year long, but Cam Ward, guess what? He's got a heart in there that's ticking just like the rest of us. He's got blood going through the veins. Like, he's human is what I'm trying to say, Alex. And he looked human tonight, although better than most humans still, but human.
Well, I got to run, Grease. Going to be doing radio post game. You have an awesome rest of your postcast, and let's appreciate 8-0, and let's appreciate knocking FS Pooh out of bowl eligibility. I'll see you next week, man.
All right, my man. Enjoy your post game on QAM. Watch Locked On Canes with Alex Dono day in and day out. You everydayers know this right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Man, the comments, they look worse and worse every week. FSU defense played well. Dwight, you're right about that. D-line and DBs. And our defensive backs don't make plays. This is something about the Miami Hurricanes this year that bugs me, is that there's no Ed Reed. I know, right? Boo-hoo for us. There's no Ed Reed. There's no Devin Hester back there. He's playing DB. There's nobody making plays. Sean Taylor, nobody getting those tip balls and taking them to the house. Nobody making big plays on special teams. That's something that's missing. We need that electrifying return game. We need that electrifying opportunistic defense that you don't want to see a ball get batted up in the air because it's going back to the house the other way. It just is one of those things that this year is not there. Kelvin says, or Tony says, Miami will get curb stomped by Clemson, and in the postseason, it's going to be comical. Okay, well, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Look, Texas didn't look so good today either, right? Or last week. For that matter, Alabama's had some rough games, so I wouldn't exactly say that the SEC's lit the world on fire this year either. If you're looking for anything, it's Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten. It's Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten. There, I said it. FSU played the pass and gave up the run. If he would have forced it downfield, he would have thrown an interception. No doubt about that, Kelvin. That's part of it. That's definitely part of it. But like Alex said, the pass rush was there all night for Florida State, and that really – even when Cam Ward went to the air and kept going to the air, it was quick patterns. It was little slants. It was little hitch patterns. It was not anything deep and down the field all that much tonight. Florida State, you're right. Florida State had it in their minds that they were not going to give that up. There's no way they were going to give that up, and they really didn't. So when you think about what happened in this game and really at the end of the day, how it played out, there's a couple things. Miami ran the ball super well, right? Ran the ball super well. And in the game tonight, Cam Ward showed that he's human, didn't have a touchdown pass, actually caught one. So now he doesn't have a touchdown pass, right? or a touchdown run. He had a touchdown catch. He still scored, but how does this affect the Heisman race? We'll have to talk about that a little bit later, too. Also in this game, what I thought was impressive on the part of Florida State's defense was holding Miami to those field goals, right? Borregakes with the 20-yard field goal. Right before the half, they had the one shot to get it in the end zone. Incomplete pass, ball through the hands of a receiver in a tight window, nonetheless, 88-yard drive. Borregakes with a 20-yard field goal at the gun, 17-7. Then in the third quarter, Borregakes with the field goals, 42 and 45, So really not able to get that ball inside the red zone in that third quarter and score a touchdown in the second quarter. So 3 points instead of 7, field goal fest. That's why it's up there. You add 12 more points to that score. It's 48-14 if they score touchdowns instead of field goals. And FSU got the garbage touchdown late, the 75-yard drive. But Miami does not have playmakers in the defensive backfield right now. That's one thing I really noticed about the team as we move forward. But a win is a win of a win. And a win is a win. And a good job by Miami there. You're watching your Locked On Hurricanes postcast. Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Don't forget Locked On Canes podcast every day with Alex Dono. We appreciate him joining us here on the show tonight. They go to 8-0, baby. 8-0. The all-black attack. A lot of fans wanting to go with that traditional look. Most people wanted just the orange jerseys with the white and the white helmets against FSU, thinking it might be even disrespectful to go all black in a rivalry game, but not the case in this one. I thought they looked great. They played real good for the most part. The run game was phenomenal. We will take you inside the numbers on the other side and show you how it happened. Take a look at the scoring and the summary there as well. And then later on, we hit the graphics, the player of the game, right? The turning point of the game and the final score graphic as we break it down for you, Hurricane fans, for you. The Hurricanes go to 8-0, number 6 in the country. Will they move up in the rankings? I don't know. Ohio State struggled with Nebraska. Penn State's been in a dogfight today. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe no movement, but we shall see. It's just a nice job by Damien Martinez there. We'll talk about him. A career game, at least in a Hurricanes uniform. His average yards per carry, huge. Had another great touchdown run. Second week in a row, he's done that from distance. Damien Martinez becoming the Damien Martinez we thought we were getting when he came here through the portal from Oregon State. This is Locked On Canes postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. I'll talk about Martinez a little bit more on the other side. But first things first, oh, man. Z-Biotics, right? Z-Biotics. Pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. I could have used it this morning. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. It's always in the gut. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Every time I have a pre-alcohol before drinks, and I wasn't smart enough to do it last night, I know it's a difference the next day. I love it. It works great for me, and every single time it makes that feeling a lot less painful. No doubt about it. Here's how you use it. Step 1 is drink pre-alcohol. For best results, make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Step 2, drink responsibly. Pace yourself, hydrate, get a good night's sleep. Step 3, enjoy tomorrow. Wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on the day. All you have to do, go to zbiotics.com/LockedOnCollege to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Locked On College at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's right. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/LockedOnCollege and use the code LockedOnCollege at checkout for 15% off from Z-Biotics. And tonight's show is also brought to you by Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less, at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. I love Prize Picks. I use it all the time. I play it. It makes the games that much more fun. Everything about it is just awesome. Absolutely incredible. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. It's the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including Cali, Florida, Georgia, Texas. It's also the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineup stay in play. Even if one of your players gets injured, if your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. So Prize Picks obviously is absolutely incredible, and all you have to do is download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's downloading the app today, the code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And Prize Picks, of course, run your game on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, a big win for the Miami Hurricanes. And what I mean is you go to 8-0. I mean, you go to 8-0. Florida State is eliminated. Obviously, they're 1-7, 1-6 in the conference. Miami 4-0 in the ACC, and it looks like cruise control from here. We don't want to get too carried away with that. Obviously, it looks like cruise control from here for Miami. You know, they won at Florida. They beat Florida State. They're the state champs, right? You won at Louisville, and you won at Cal. You beat Virginia Tech. So far, so good. Smoked South Florida, right? So here you go. You got Duke at Georgia Tech versus Wake Forest and at Syracuse, and then a championship game. So you don't want to trip up against Duke. You don't Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse, any of those games don't look like you'll be tripping up in those games, but nevertheless, you just have to keep winning, and that's what they did today. I thought the pass rush was fantastic all night long. I thought the tackling was much better. The linebackers played better, although they're not playmakers, man. You saw Ray Lewis on the sideline. You're looking for plays. Where's the pick sixes? Where's the big plays from the defense scoring from anywhere on the field? We don't have that dude in the defensive backfield. We don't have that dude on special teams. We don't have that dude this year. We have a ton of receivers who can make big plays, but it was clear from the beginning of the game FSU's defense, it reminded you of some of the things Mickey Andrews used to do with Bobby Bowden, right? FSU's defense was not giving up big plays tonight. They were not giving up deep passes tonight. They were keeping everything in front of them, and they were going to make the tackles. Now, the run game chewed them up from there, and that was great because the passing game with Cam Ward, he was 22 of 35 for 208. Nothing wrong with that, but no touchdowns. It was all about the running game tonight. Martinez had 2. Fletcher had 1. Cam Ward caught one. How about that? Cam Ward caught one from Elijah Arroyo, 7 yards out. But Damien Martinez, we're going to call him our star of the game a little bit later on. Obviously, 15 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, a long of 53. Another long touchdown tonight. Mark Fletcher Jr. on a week when he lost his father. Shout out to Mark Fletcher Sr. and he lost his pops, Mark Fletcher Jr. So 15 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown tonight. Came out running hard and strong, set the tone for Miami early in this game. Not much for Allen or Lyle tonight. Cam didn't run the ball much either, but FSU's pass rush was there all night long. They had 4 sacks of Cam Ward in this game. They had 5 tackles for a loss. So Florida State's defensive front, clearly the best part of that team, and they were supposed to be coming into this season, which has been a disaster for them. But what a game for Damien Martinez. 15 for 148, 2 TDs. I just mentioned that. Mark Fletcher was phenomenal as well. As far as the receivers, Horton, 6 for 65. Brown, 4 for 39. Arroyo, 2 for 24, had the 7-yard TD pass as well. Restrepo, 4 for 24. Not much for those guys. Martinez, 1 for 21. George, 3 for 21. Trader, 1 for 11. Ward, 1 for 7. Johnson, 1 for 3. Fletcher lost a fumble, didn't lose it. Fumbled, but didn't lose it. Meanwhile, Miami with Mesidor had a sack. Bain had a half a sack. Barron a half a sack. And the team had a half a sack. So not a bad night there for Miami. Again, Borregakes, Andres with 3 field goals, 2 of them in the 40 ranges, 1 a 20-yarder. So Dylan Joyce with a 42-yard punt in the game. But when you look at the team stats, we'll hit those before we get to break real quick. Look, 3 for 13 on third downs for FSU. Miami 8 for 14 and 3 for 3 on fourth downs. How about that for Mario Cristobal's team? 445 to 248 total yards, 215 to 115 passing, 230 to 133 on the ground. So 230 yards rushing for Miami, 5.8 yards per carry. They ran it 40 times, and that is why they were able to just dominate that Florida State front. Penalties about even. Miami went backwards a little bit in that regard this week, and they won the time of possession by 11 minutes, 35-23 to 24-37, 14 seconds shy of 11 minutes there. They win the time of possession, and we come up to break number 2. We keep it here, but on the flip, we're going to break it down for you one more time. We're going to hit you with the player of the game, the turning point of the game, and that final score graphic. Take a look ahead to the Dukies, baby. Shout out to Dickie V, Miami and Duke next week. 4 games left plus the conference championship. Miami with about an 87% chance, I think I saw tonight, of making the 12-team playoff. Just keep winning. That's all that matters right now. I know you guys in the chat are killing them. This is a bad, you know what I mean? Bad win, not a dominant performance, too premature to talk bye week. You know what I mean? Like, look, I wasn't excited. The game felt almost boring. Strong critic, Calvin. That's okay. You're all right to be that. You know, I mean, it really doesn't matter right now. You just keep winning. Yes, 36-14 is smoking them, El Cunado. I mean, you covered the spread. You didn't go over for the first time this year. You missed that by 4.5. But, I mean, Jimmy's saying this team's extremely flawed. We need a better DC. You guys, man, you guys are brutal. I'm going to have to call you out right now in the chat with the negativity. They won the game. They won the game. I mean, how many years have we been starving for a team to be this good this late with a record like this? We didn't think it would happen this year. Enter Cam Ward, proves he's human tonight. But you guys, I mean, look, it's a brutal room. I understand. I really do understand. But this is a brutal room. You're watching Locked On Canes Postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. The graphics coming up on the other side, and we look ahead to the Dukies as well. Keep it here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your everydayers know this. Your team every day. And you guys know I love talking to you about FanDuel, right? NFL, college football fans, big returns awaiting you on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. And what they're going to do, they're going to get you started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. The Hurricanes 36, the Seminoles 14, a 22-point victory for Mario Cristobal's team. They go to 8-0. People in the chat not happy. What say you, Miami? Subscribe, hit that bell so you know when we have more coming your way. Alex is on another channel with this, same channel with the podcast. We love that. But what are you thinking? 8-0, being a fan for 30 years, hard to know what type of team this team is. Okay, FSU blew us out 45-3. That's history. Yeah, breaks a 3-game losing streak to the No Bowl this year, Seminoles. So, yeah, look, it's, totally the tally trash girls school once again. The world's getting back to where it should be. Great teams find different ways to beat you. Tonight was the running game. Great win. Thank you, Jose Rodriguez. Bang. Mic drop. Well, keyboard drop. Whatever you don't want to drop your keyboard. But you know what I'm saying. We played Florida way better. All right, guys, the negativity in here's the energy. Hey, we won the game. You play to win the game, and we won the game. And me and my ratty old notebook right here, we all agree. But look at that. Look at Damien Martinez, the game he had. That is the cue right there as we get to our graphics of the game tonight. And what do we got here? We have got graphic number 1, which is the final score of the game. Look at that, Miami, 36-14 versus Florida State. Look at, is that Martinez or Fletcher? It doesn't matter. They were killing them with both tonight. I think that's Fletcher. The run game, huge in this one for Miami. So they go to 8-0 with the victory. You know, and then, of course, the turning point in this ball game. The Canes come out aggressively running the football from the start of the game, and I don't know why in the world that one, the picture didn't change. That looked like it was ready to rock. All right, so that was the moment. They decided early on in the game to come on out and run the football. And you could see with Mario Cristobal right away. And look, FSU with the pressure, hitting Cam Ward, the sacks tonight. Tackles for loss. They got good penetration up front with their defensive front seven. You can't take that away from them. But Miami found a way to do it, and it was the cutbacks of the running backs. Martinez and Fletcher, big, strong guys, 225, bruisers, banging you in there, and shifty and with the speed as well. Very, very nice. And then the star of the game, first week, it's not Cam Ward. It was Mario Cristobal and Cam Ward last week at Louisville. Cristobal set the tone on the 4th down last week from the 34-yard line and really seized that game in the moment. But how about Damien Martinez tonight? The first Canes player besides Cam Ward to win our star of the game this year, and all Martinez did. And what a night it was for Damien, the junior from Louisville, Texas, from Oregon State, right? Coming in, 15 carries, 148 yards, almost 10 yards a carry tonight. 2 touchdowns along of 53. Honorable mention, shout out Mark Fletcher Jr., 15 for 71. In fact, the running game overall for Miami tonight, 230 yards on 40 carries, 3 touchdowns in this ball game, and a great job by Damien Martinez. You can see the cut back there, the vision, and really getting it done in this game tonight. And speaking of getting it done, you, I love you, all of you. Alex, we love you too. Our videos, our podcasts on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube channels. We're killing it. You guys are doing wonders for us. We love it. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and find out, you'll get notifications when we come back again. You know what I mean? Comment, come in the chat, interact with us, have some fun. It's how we do this, and it's what we do it for, right? You know what I mean? So it really is amazing. Oscar Ruiz says you get all these recruits and you board them to death. I don't know. That atmosphere was pretty live there. 22-point win, and I'm not happy with it. We should have smoked this bleepy JV FSU squad by at least 40. All love to Fletch. He deserves a game ball. Word up, Jake. Word up. I'm with you on that one. So we hit the graphics. What are we going to do now? We got Duke next week. You're 8-0, right? You're 8-0, okay? And you have got the Dukies on the 2nd next week, still undetermined as to what time that'll be. But Duke is 6-1. And this game's at home. Miami, a 90%, chance to win this game going in. And they lost at Georgia Tech by 10. But Duke beat Florida State by 7, beat North Carolina. You know what I mean? They've won some pretty good games. No line on that game as of yet that I can see. Tickets available, obviously, but 8-0, right, for the Dukies. And then after that, still plenty of games. You got Georgia Tech on the road, Wake Forest home in the last home game of the year on the 23rd of November. And then on the 30th, it's Syracuse on the road, which isn't what it used to be, without a doubt there. So the Hurricanes, again, look, was it pretty? No, everything but the run game and the defensive front. I thought the defensive front was great. The run game was great. Not a tremendous game for Cam Ward or the receiving crew. That kind of goes hand in hand, right? Defensive backs, still a big concern. A little bit of tackling with the issues tonight, but that one long run, that's all it really was. So you take away that run and you take away the late touchdown, Florida State got nothing. They should have been shut out in this game. I picked 51-zip. If Florida State had been shut out the way they should have tonight, minus that late garbage drive and that one long run, right, when he just tried to stick it up in there and get the first round. He had the first down. He goes 40+. So you take those 2 plays away, they don't score those 2 touchdowns, and then Miami gets touchdowns instead of field goals, then you're talking about 48-zip, and I would have been right on the button. So those are the things that change the outcomes of games. But when you're this good at running the football, when you're this good and you're this smart up front, blocking people, maybe not in pass pro as much tonight, but you're going to win a lot of games, and you're going to have a lot of success along the way. And it was not pretty. Again, one more time through the numbers. Cam Ward, 22 of 35, 208. Not a big game, no touchdowns. He caught one. Pretty dope, but it was all about Martinez and Fletcher. 30 carries combined, 148 for Martinez, 71 for Fletch. So that's 52 and 19. So 30 carries for 219 and 3 touchdowns for that two-headed monster. Imagine being a defensive player, defensive lineman, maybe not as much. You're going up against those big guys all night anyway, but the linebackers, the DBs, all night long having to smash into these 2 running backs and tackle them at 225 pounds plus each. No bueno, man. No bueno. That is not an easy thing to do for defensive players, and that really wore Florida State down tonight. Miami won almost every statistical category, the game within the game, and, it just was what it was. Stay unbeaten. I've been seeing a lot of that in the chat. Martinez with his biggest win or his biggest performance. Borregakes with the 3 field goals again. Look, Florida State started 13-0 last year and won the ACC. 5th losing season in 7 years for the Seminoles. And that's bad for Mike Norvell. And, yeah, it was not a good game for them. And it was the running game for Miami. It was, Kromenhoek. It was not a good game for him in Florida State. Their offense is almost like, the old 1AA. You know what I'm saying? So Florida State's still the only FBS team that hasn't scored more than 21 points in a game this season. They haven't scored more than 16 in any of their last 9 games. They scored 21 in their season opener in Ireland against Georgia Tech, and that's their highest scoring game of the year. All downhill from there for the Seminoles. Xavier Restrepo for Miami passed Michael Irvin and Reggie Wayne on the same play. A 13-yard catch in the third quarter, gave him 174 catches, passing Reggie for number 2 on Miami's career receptions list, Santana Moss number 1, and 27 yards passing Irvin for number 3 on Miami's career list, Santana Moss number 1. There, 2, Reggie Wayne number 2. So the Hurricanes will probably stay right around number 6. Florida State is just screwed. Miami and Duke next week. No time announced yet. We'll get that up as soon as we can. Alex will have it for you during the week. We'll do our crossover on Friday like we always do. And again, beat Duke up on Saturday. You go to 9-0. Just keep on rolling, baby. That is all that matters. Keep on winning these games. If you look around today, Alabama didn't look good again. Georgia didn't, you know what I mean? Texas didn't look good again. So, you know what I'm saying? And people talking about realism in there and Mario breaking his FSU curse. And Wesley says bunch of negative Nancy's. I'm with you. But you know what? It is one of those things. And I'll tell you that. And I believe that teams get better as the season goes on. You just keep winning. And then you prepare for Clemson if and when that comes. And then you prepare for the playoff games if and when they come. But in the meantime, you're 8-0, Miami. Party it up. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. 8-0, baby. 8-0. Let's go. You got the negativity out. Hit those bars. Hit those clubs. Have those house parties. Celebrate, baby. It's Saturday night in the MIA, in the 305, and the Canes are 8-0. Yeah, they're 8-0. Deal with it, America. And all you Canes fans in here, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right? 8-0, baby. 4 more, and we're in the playoff. 4 more. Let's go. Let's go. Miami is 8-0. 36-14 the win over FSU. And, hey, the Canes just keep on rolling. It was the running game tonight. Cam Ward, you know, is going to get back to form. And with that running game alongside Cam being at that level with Martinez playing the way he's playing now, they keep getting better. The defense is getting better. The DBs are getting better. They don't have explosive playmakers in the defensive backfield or in the special teams games. I understand that. But maybe that'll be something that comes a little bit later in the year. But they keep getting better, and they're cleaning things up. The penalties this week need to be cleaned up even more. All right, Canes fans, that's all there is. There is no more. 36-14, the Canes win. Beat the Seminoles. Rivalry week is over. Homecoming is over. We packed that place tonight. Good job, Canes fans. Great job showing up and showing out at the stadium and here tonight on the show as well. 36-14. Miami, Damien Martinez, one more time, the star of the game. Look at that. 15 for 171 and 2 touchdowns, including a 53-yard run, another long touchdown tonight for Damien, 2 weeks in a row, playing his guts out. And Miami goes to 8-0. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Canes fans. We'll see you next week after the Duke game. This has been your Locked On Canes postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, and I'm really excited to talk to you about our conference shows here at Locked On. Thank you for making Locked On Canes postcast a part of your day today. For your second listen, check out Locked On ACC. Alex Dono, our boy, and Kenton Gibbs. Keep it real and breathe the truth about where your favorite ACC team stands within the conference. Find Locked On ACC on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Canes fans. We are out.